Hello and welcome to the city of Carthage. And today we have got an awesome 4 versus 4 on this great settlement. Defending, we have got Pontus being commanded by Mexi, Swaby being commanded by Pedro, Chimeria being commanded by myself, and Bowie being commanded by Buds Rome. Attacking, we have the Carthaginians trying to take back their city, I guess. And Carthage is being brought by Liquid. Sparta is being brought by Poopy Man, the one and only. Rome here is being commanded by Reaper 8675309. And Tylus is being commanded by Ninja Dragon. So we're going to go ahead and kick this one off. There's a couple, obviously there's some, factions that you probably aren't very used to seeing played. Especially the two that I specifically would point out would be Chimeria and Pontus. They're both considered not as good of factions, just because, like, Chimeria itself does not have very good, sword infantry. They literally only get, what are called young axes, and they're very, very, very bad. They do get a lot of, spear and hoplite units, though, Scythian hoplites, and then they have one called Chimerian Noble Infantry, which is right here, which are very, very cool. Yeah, he's got a bee on his shield. But the cool thing about Chimeria is their archers are fantastic. We've done a lot of testing with them and have found that, honestly, those Chimerian archers are they might just be the best archer in the game. At least in a archer-to-archer fight. The one downside to them is they don't get a heavy shot or anything like that. They only get standard and fire and flaming shot. Pontus is another one that you don't see a whole lot. Once again, just because its infantry isn't the greatest. They do get Pontic swords, which are okay. They're average, but they lose to things like thorax swords. Carthage here, Carthage's infantry is going to be kind of tough for Pontus, because Carthage has really good mercenary units. We've got some late Libyan hoplites, Libyan infantry, Gallic warriors, and then pikes, Cretan archers, Samnite warriors, and pretty average, pretty normal Carthage army. Same thing, Sparta here is going to be, let's see, a lot of Perioikoi spears, Spartan youths, a lot of Royal Spartans, Spartan hoplites, things like that. Tylus, Levy Freeman pushing up the ram. Rome here, of course, Hastati, a lot of Hastati, to push up equipment, things like that. And then, he's at way back here, Armored Legionaries, Praetorian Guard, Evocati cohorts. Then Tylus here has got Tribal Warriors, lots of Tribal Warriors. Yep, lots and lots of Tribal Warriors, lots of and quite a bit of Celtic Warriors once again to push up these tortoises. Now, defender-wise, Swaby's got lots of, let's see, Bloodsworn, just standard, Swaby frontliners. Hex Bears, Wolf Warriors. Wolf Warriors and Bloodsworn are almost the same. They have very slight stat differences, though. Round Shield Swordsmen, and then some Swordmasters and Kimbri Bowwomen. Bowie has brought a lot of sword followers. Yeah, a lot of sword followers. And I assume he's got Oathsworn around here somewhere. He did bring Celtic Slingers. Did he? I mean, his Jin's an Oathsworn, but I would have expected he had more than one. Oh, there it is. There's the other one. And then Chimeria, Noble Infantry, Scythian Hoplites. Yeah, so pretty average stuff. Pontus, kind of the same thing. A lot of Now, Pontus did come out with some noble blood cav, and Carthage countered with his noble cav Jin, which is a really good cav unit, and it looks like Pontus's cav got caught here, but he might be sending out a unit. Yep, looks like he's going to send out a unit of Hillmen to go support that. So Carthage needs to be careful because there are ways, if he's not careful, there are ways this cav can get through these gaps. A lot of holes in the walls now. We've got a big breach here from Sparta, and then a lot of towers coming up here. Tylos is knocking down a ton of walls. 1, 2, 3 breaches over here. Looks like Rome ditched these towers for a moment. We got a Celtic tribesman coming over to this gate. Losing a lot of men, though. That Celtic tribesman unit is losing a lot there. So what tends to happen on this part of the city here, this hill for the defenders is very, very, very important. Because this hill, if you have archers here, and if you have superiority on this area, you have archer superiority typically over this entire area. It is very, very hard for attackers to get their archers into spots to counter you, which means your archers can typically just wreck anything they send into this area. So that is very important for the attackers, is to come in and really push the defenders off of this hill here. Now, Swabing sent out a club levy and then a sword follower from Boii to stop this ram and really just kind of slow them down. Another really big breach here. And then, yeah, I mean, they just brought so many tortoises, it's ridiculous. I think they had, 3 different, factions that could bring tortoises, so they had plenty of tortoises to make these gigantic breaches. You can see in a lot of ways we're not holding where they made those breaches, just for the fact that there really wouldn't be a point. Most of this stuff, like, why hold, here, 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 and here, when you can really just kind of fall back and hold other places like the streets here, and here maybe, stuff like that. You can see that Boii and Rome are heavily engaged here. We got the Hastati coming in on the Bloodsworn. And then one of his club levies did get surrounded here from this other breach. Got a Hastati and a tribal warrior surrounding these club levy. Swaby pulled off his Bloodsworn, though, to get him out of that combat. Basically just protect his flanks, and then it looks like he's going to come in here and here. Now, I brought my cavalry out of here. We waited for these Celtic tribesmen to die, and then we brought the cav out to see what we could get into. So I'm going to come back this way and maybe wrap around this hill, if I can get back into the back of Rome or Tylos. Carthage just pushed a little bit in. He's got Gallic warriors coming in, but he's about to get flanked here. Well, maybe not. Yeah. So he pulled off to prevent the flank, but now Pontus is going to follow right in. Then we got hoplites taking on the Libyan infantry over here. Now, when I came around this hill, I saw that got the mercenary Thracian peltas. These steppe lancers are not very powerful. They're incredibly fast, and they can get a solid charge in, but they are very, very... They die so easily. Look at that, 10 armor, so, one little volley and you lose a ton. I think that, yeah, lost 11 already, and they didn't even get into a charge. Well, it looks like they maybe got 1 kill there. So I'm pulling back those steppe lancers just to get them out of that area. No point going in. Now, Boii has sent in units to help Swaby's flank here. Let's see, we got Oathsworn and sword followers. He could bring it as Oathsworn just because for a while there, Rome's archers were not up here. And so since his archers weren't up here, these Oathsworn could really just go to town on these Hastati. But as you can see, he's starting to pull them back a little bit because Rome finally brought his archers up. So Pontus is still being pushed here by Carthage. Got Libyan hoplites and Gallic warriors going up against a Pontic sword. Then here we've got a hoplite versus late Libyan hoplite and Libyan infantry, but Pontus does have some, Pontic swords there. You can see a lot of archer fire coming in from the auxiliary Syrian archers from Rome. That is, not a bad idea from them, because even though we, from here, have the archer superiority, to these places, because the line is in this area, these archers can stay out of range of ours while getting really good shots into our defenses. So not a bad idea by them. As you can see, what we're going to do now, we're bringing my archers up into the open space here to counter that. We're going to pull them up into the open space and then use this angle here to get into the Roman archers with mine. Once again, that's kind of what Chimerian archers really are very good at, is they're archer to archer, they typically win. They have a faster fire rate, and then they have a high missile damage. So they end up outshooting the enemy archers. The issue with Chimera is very hard to make it relevant, just because all you have are spears. Their young axes are not good. They're only like 200, or I think they're 190 even. 190 gold, and they don't get Pila, and they're just terrible. So you really are kind of just stuck with your spear units, and, depending on how you like to play, that's not very good, Like me personally, I'm not usually a hoplite guy. I tend to be pretty aggressive in my defenses. And so I like armies that are pretty aggressive, things like Lusitani. But Chimera was very fun to play. It was fun trying something different that a lot of people don't usually use. And it was fun thinking of ways to make, a combination of you and an ally, using different combinations of factions to try and make a relatively weaker faction a little more relevant. Taking two armies like Boii that does not have good archers at all, but has great infantry, but pairing it with Chimera, who has great archers and some good holding forces, was actually kind of fun, and it worked out relatively well. Now, as you can see over here, I made a mistake. I was concentrating on microing my archers, and I left my cav over here sitting here, and Tylus was able to come in and just wipe them out. So that really sucked. I was pretty bummed about that. That was just a huge mistake on my part. Just not paying enough attention. So I believe, so Boii put his Oathsworn back into this combat, because once again, now that Rome's archers have been kicked out of this fight, for now at least, the Oathsworn are able to go in really without really needing to worry about getting shot to pieces by archers. Now, it looks like Carthage is basically just kind of holding off on Pontus for now. I don't think that's a bad idea at all. If you're not winning, then don't push it. If you want to hold and, keep things, concentrated on you, that's absolutely fine, but there's no point in throwing your army away. And then Sparta's got his archers set up here. He's getting ready to take some shots in on, the sword followers. So the sword followers have, 75 armor. They are very, very tanky. So if there's a unit that is going to be able to tank a lot of those shots, it's the sword followers. Far more than Swaby. Swaby is a very, very lightly armored faction, so you got to be very careful with them. Once again, another good reason to pair them with a heavy archer faction is because if this can win the archer fight, then Swaby can really just go in and do as much damage as they want to. Now, Rome is always an issue. Rome is one of the reason people tend to think it's overpowered is because it's so easy to play. It is one of those factions that you really don't need to think too much on how you play it, because every unit they have is relevant. It is good. Hastati, in the grade of units at that level, Hastati is very good. So it's one of those things that, peer-to-peer, Rome is very, very good against just about anybody. So Rome is always a tough one to deal with because, like right here, you got Evocati Cohort. Now the Oathsworn is going to be able to do some damage, but Evocati Cohort is a tough unit. So you could see that this area right here is actually getting very, very slim for us. This, especially this right side, the Sword Follower unit's only at 32 and about to break. So I think what we were doing is, yep, you got the Wolf Warriors from Swaby, and then I was even pulling up a Scythian Hoplite to cover that gap as well. And I think we actually decided that we were going to pull off of this area just because Rome was just smacking us, man. Right there, Rome was just chewing through Bowie Eye's units. And even over here, you could see this. Look at all the green from Bowie Eye. Yeah, Rome is just tearing us apart in those spaces. Now here we've got Celtic Warriors holding back just a flood. Spartan Hoplites, Spartan Youths, and a Hastati unit. And then we got 2 Sword Followers holding back a Spartan Hoplite, with the Sword Follower holding this street. Pontus at the moment is unengaged. And then over here we've got a pretty good force. We moved everything back onto this little hill over here. I'm not sure the Pontic Peltis for Pontus have come in. Yeah, the Pontic Peltis for Pontus, yeah. They have moved forward, and I don't think he meant to do that, so he's trying to get them back before they get charged by the Hastati. And then Bowie has got his Celtic Slingers here with a great vantage point. What we did is we put the Noble Hoplites, or the Noble Infantry, down at the bottom of the staircase so that the Slingers could stand at the top and try and shoot down. But wisely, Hastati have gone to Testudo. Sometimes they do this. They're in there we go. They go into the formation but don't put their shields up. It's a little goofy sometimes. But as you can see, we've got quite a bit left over here. Swaby is the one that he's a little spread out, but he doesn't have a huge area to defend. He's got basically this one choke point and the wall here that he has to hold on to. Oh, now look at the archer fire coming from Carthage. Carthage is just laying into the troops of Bowie over here. Got 3 units of Cretan archers, and then I think these guys... Okay, so, no, it's just the Carthaginian archers. Now here comes Tylus. Tylus is another tough one because these tribal warriors have 95 armor. It is just a ridiculous amount of armor. So they are going to be very, very tough. Our archers will not do well against them, especially mine that don't have heavy shot. Since I don't have heavy shot, things like this are just going to be super tanky to the arrows. As you can see, Carthage is now putting in archer fire into the back ranks over here of like the Celtic Slingers. I'm trying to get my archers into areas to shoot them, but sometimes the game is very finicky on the angles that you are allowed to kind of shoot from. You know, it may tell you have range, but that doesn't exactly mean you can shoot. Basically, it did not want to shoot best because the angle that I had. So it made it very, very hard at this point to counter these archers because they were able to shoot at us while we couldn't shoot at them. But you can see the Chimerian Noble Infantry doing very well. You know, they may not be getting a lot of kills, but that's not really what they do. They just stand there and they don't move, which is what their job is. So we've got some Spartan Hoplites coming in. I've got a Scythian Hoplite blocking off this area here. Then back here, still Pontus is really just not engaged at the moment. You can see I've got a lot of reserves here. Chimerian Noble Infantry, Scythian Hoplites, and everything. Now Tylus has got his Celtic Skirmishers coming in. And then Rome here has got his auxiliary Syrian archers coming in as well. We're trying to shoot onto these walls. I've got the tribal warriors coming onto here. So as you can see from this area here, we've got a really good angle onto those walls, so we get some great shots. Right now, I don't believe we can hit the auxiliary and Syrian archers from this angle yet, Usually you can get them, you know, as they get into stuff like this. They're definitely in range, but this, because that building, makes it very hard to hit. Now, Carthage, though, Carthage has his, you know, unit coming down this way, probably chasing, trying to find an angle to shoot. You know, he probably gave an attack order and they started running. So as you can see, we are laying into them with the heavy archers here. 62 kills. So Carthage is, they're doing really good. Probably about a little over half ammo left on those guys. And you can see Sparta's got his archers in this angle over here. Now, I'm not sure why, but Rome's Cav is in the battle. So I'm not 100% sure why. Like his gen is. Charged right into this combat over here. Yeah, this Chimerian Noble Infantry is getting really thin. 32 guys left in the unit. That's kind of the downside to them. They need something to help kill. But if they can have something to help them kill, then they can hold for a very, very long time. These Celtic skirmishers are trying to get shots into these round shield swordsmen, which do not have the armor to deal with that. But you can see that Bowie has got a really nice angle here. Look at that. Really good screenshots there. Those slingers are getting really nice shots down in. Look at just the destruction of that. I mean, that's painful. Now, Sparta, I think his art, what is, once again, I think just a misclick here with these Cretan archers. They end up running into combat over here. But now you can see, like, we're getting pushed off a little bit just because we're getting shot from this angle over here by the auxiliary Syrians, and the mercenary Cretans are shooting our units in the back here. Yeah, and as you can see, they pushed their way onto the top of the staircase now. But we have a combination, two Scythian hoplites, a swordmaster, and a Pontic sword, all holding that area. I think that the Celtic skirmishers are out of ammo, so they've gone into combat with the Bloodsworn over here, along with some tribal warriors, Samnite warriors, and Libyan infantry. Those Samnite warriors are also another tough one, another 95 armor unit. And on the wall, I think it's still the tribal warriors, but they are losing. And then we've got some more Celtic skirmishers coming in, trying to get some shots off. Evocati cohort from Rome. Yeah, big push coming from this angle over here. Scythian hoplite holding off a Hastati unit. It looks like some more came up this way, but I think they got shot down as they came up, so they retreated. Once again, still a lot of backup here, a lot of hoplites and things holding these other choke points. Great fire coming in on these loose formations of, like, the noble fighters. Noble fighters are a really good one to target with archers. They don't have very good armor, and they just, I think it's their shields that are not very big, allow them to be pretty susceptible to arrow fire. Especially since noble fighters are so good in combat. If you can kill them before they get into combat, it is incredibly helpful. There's a huge mosh pit here. Rome just trying to, you know, push his way through this defense. Carthage over here, still with a combination of Carthage and Tylus still. Some more tribal warriors. And then what do we got? We got an Oathsworn from Tylus coming up on the wall. So Tylus is gonna come down this way and try to basically eat through these on the wall and get down behind the defensive line here. So that's going to be an issue just because the Oathsworn are very, very good. Look at that. They have 60 kills and they haven't even lost anybody yet. They are just ridiculously good. Gallic Warriors at 47. Noble Fighters just got to 7 now. Unfortunately, these Noble Fighters don't have a very good way to get in combat because there's so many troops there. As you can see, we actually counter pushed here. We're taking a lot of Boei, let's see, 2 units of Boei, 1 Swaby, and 1 from Pontus, all pushing into this area here. At the same time, Boei has taken 3 units and pushed this way. And I think, yeah, Pontus is actually pushed out of the settlement and is wrapping around the side here of Sparta. So Sparta here in a moment is going to start becoming the defenders of these breaches as all these units come in and counter push on the backside, same time as we push here and here. And over on this side, all we have to do is really hold. We just need the other side to hopefully break something. Now Sparta brought a bunch of archers up. But as you can see, he's retreating a bunch of them because they were really getting shot hard by the combination of the Cimbri bows and the Chimerian heavy archers. This one is sticking it out, 30 kills, but he's down to half, more than half. Look at that. That's just, oh, man, that's a lot of archer fire there. Gotta be careful here. My archers are creeping a little close to the battle line. Scythian Hoplites just broke, but we got the Sword Masters in combat. They've not done great. I think they got shot a lot from this angle. I think that's why they are at so low, health. Oathsworn up here doing exactly what we thought. They've only lost 4 men, but they've got 100 kills. But as you can see, we are starting to fire in on the walls here. We knew that we really needed to kill that unit, because if it was able to cut through this and get in the back line, we were going to be in a lot of trouble. So we got a lot here. We got the Chimerian Heavy Archers, which I think these ones just ran out of ammo. Cimbri Bowwomen, and then I think we've got another Chimerian about to go into that spot to keep firing on that wall. Now Pontus let's see, he pushed in here against the Heroes of Sparta and Spartan Hoplites, and then we got some Boei units. Got the Pontic Jin with 109 kills and some Pontic swords. But you can see they're not pushing very hard yet, just because they don't have the troops to push into, all of this stuff, especially with the Perioikoi pikes and the African pikes over here. What's that? Oathsworn, 145. So even that archery we've been putting into it still is pretty healthy, but you can see that it's starting to lose HP. Which means that every volley that these are just going to start doing more and more and more, the more HP damage is done. So Tylus has kind of realized that this Oathsworn is very, very exposed up here, and is going to try and get him off those walls and hopefully get him a little out of that archer exposure. Over here you can see this counter push is going very, very well. The Boei Pontus push here is going well, but over this way we've got a Royal Spartan in the way. What we're probably going to do, so Boei is folding in and going to surround the Royal Spartans, which in the end is still going to take a long time. These Royal Spartans are very, very good. Just extremely good units. So they, even, surrounded as they are, look at that. They have 76 base morale, which means that they're going to hold for a long time in that spot. Then you can see the Spartan pikes are starting. This is where this kind of push stalls. You run into these. If we can get an angle with the archers, we might be able to counter off these pikes. But if we can't get an angle on these pikes, then these pikes are just going to stall this entire thing. So we need to desperately try to find something to deal with these pikes over here. And still, this stairway is just holding as long as it possibly can, trying to keep this area here under our control so we can use it as long as we possibly can. Then if we need to, we can start pushing back down the streetways, pushing this way or pushing up here and coming around. Because in the end, all we have to do is hold this You know, and then anything else we can either hold here or we can just start falling back, you know, coming back and around to the keep. But if we can, we want to hold this area as long as we possibly can. As you can see here, we're trying to get those archers in, you know, in the ability to fire on the Spartan pikes here, and they just want to keep running. The angle that they have in these spots is just not good enough to be able to get over into these streets. I think it's like things like this big building blocking it. And now Sparta and Carthage have got their archers starting to fire in on Pontus and Boii. Look at that, the Royal Spartans, 204 kills, and they're still tanking it, man. Now, Swaby over here is actually starting to look a little thin. Especially, look at this, all this Evocati cohort, Tribal Warriors, Royal Spartans. This is a big push about to hit over here. I've got Sword Masters, 246 kills. Another Sword Master, the Jin, 110 kills. Tylus put the Oathsworn back on the walls here, 172. And once we saw that, we got back into position to fire in on those. See, the Chimeran Heavies, 125 kills, 101, 112, 135. Yeah, so once again, they tend to be more of an anti-archer type thing, but they can still do some pretty good damage against infantry if you get them in good angles. Now these pikes over here, see, 21 kills, and then I think it's just the one that's in combat. Now the Hero Sparta Gen is, 85, a little over half health. Wait. No, they're only 120 max, so they're still doing pretty good. They've only lost 40 men. So now Carthage's Gen was able to sneak in and is getting into the back of Boii. So that Royal Spartan with 250 kills is actually surviving, and because the Boii sword follower just broke, and now the Bloodsworn in front is going to break. And then look at this, you know. A healthy unit of Thorough Spear, but two tiny units of Boii, and then behind that, there's nothing standing between all of this and our archers, except for that one Thorough Spear. Got more Pontus trying to push on this side, but I think realizing that it's losing that fight, especially with Tylus coming in around here, he's realizing he's got to get out of there before he gets flanked. And here you can see that every time we come over here, this defensive line is getting pushed back a little bit more and a little bit more. Now, what happened to Rome's... Did he pull the Evocati? He must have pulled the Evocati out, because that Evocati was very healthy and is no longer in this spot. I believe, yeah. So here's the other issue. So now that they are unengaged, the Spartan Pike can now start pushing into these Thorough Spears. We're up to 44. Look at that. It's every time just a couple more kills, That Thorough Spear really just needs to fall back. Royal Spartan at 324 kills so far. Then we got another Royal Spartan coming in behind, and now Carthage, I think, is going to try and Carthage and a couple Tylus units are going to try and kind of hold off or maybe push through Pontus back here. But we do have the Oathsworn unit from Boii back there now. And we've got the Pontus pikes, the Bronze Shield pikes, into the combat up here. Basically just to try and once again get those kills that things like the Chimerian Noble Infantry aren't getting. The pikes can get. But now the one of the Spartan pikes, I believe, is up here, or maybe it's it's the African pikes from Carthage has come in to counter that. Now the Bronze Shield pikes should win that, but it really will come down to things like if there's any archer support, anything like that. Here's another big push here. Some more Evocati, or Armored Legionaries, and tribal warriors. And I think the Oathsworn was killed finally. But the sword follower here is about to die. It got 111 kills. But Swaby is putting a wolf warrior up here to continue to try and hold that spot as long as possible. Not sure. I think that Swaby here was trying to use some scare tactics to try and break some of the morale of some of these units. Mercenary Noble Fighters are at 53 kills. But unfortunately, this is where Mercenary Noble Fighters kind of get into trouble, is things like pikes. They can't kill them if they can't get close to them. But look at this. You know, we tried to maybe counter-push a little bit here. Scythian Hoplites trying to hold back these Spartan Hoplites, but once again, biggest issue is going to be the Spartan Pikes coming in. We're pulling the Scythian Hoplites back, trying to get as much firepower down on this group of soldiers as we possibly can, but man, shooting through like Royal Spartans and Spartan Hoplites to get to Pikes is going to be very, very tough, especially when you can't use heavy shot or anything. They ended up pulling off here. I think they're trying to whittle down this Bronze Shield Pike as much as they possibly can. Basically just because they know that their pikes just aren't quite as good. And then the pike on the offense tends to lose to the pike on the defense. And here we go. So, Chimerian Noble Infantry tanking it out as long as possible over here. Got the Spartan Pikes, and then the Royal Spartans at 411 kills. And they're still, I mean, they're hurt. They're very badly hurt, but they are still in fighting. You know, they're still fighting. You know, 78 base morale now. Now, what's the other? It's a Spartan Hoplite. You know, they are relatively small units, so look at these guys. Very cool units. Another Royal Spartan unit back here, but here we have another push from Bowie. I think what he snuck through, and he might be trying to get around. No, he's just going to surround the Tylus Oathsworn, trying to put as much units as we can on this Oathsworn to whittle it down. But the African Pikes, yeah. Now, I think that my archers here are getting pretty low, if not out. Yeah, so these guys are out of ammo. This is one of the reasons I like the Chimerian Heavy Archers. They get spears instead of swords. Super, super handy for counter cav if, like, you know, if they get charged. Obviously, don't go charging them at cav if you can avoid it, but it does make it handy that if they do get charged by cavalry, they have some sort of defense. But I mean, that is our biggest issue right now, is we are low on ammunition. You can see the balance of power is almost dead even. Scythian Hoplites and the Chimerian Noble Infantry really just trying to tank it out against these pikes as long as possible. You know, the Hoplites, 42 kills, and the Chimerian, yeah, 18. What's the Spartan Pike? 170 kills now. The Noble Infantry's lost 50 men, and it's just not getting kills because it cannot fight that pike. But unfortunately, at this point in time, we don't have a great counter to the pikes. Our archers are pretty much out of ammo, and our best hope is right here, is to try and hopefully get through this and hit behind these units, you know. So we're desperately pushing on this side. The biggest issue? Pikes. So Bowie is sending his gen around to try and loop around to get, once again, to get behind. But now he's going to have to go through a Royal Spartan. This has been, you know, Sparta is just a thorn in our side at this point. Now over here is getting very, very thin, especially with the African pikes getting in. So I sent one of my Chimerian Noble Infantry over here to just help and hold it as long as we possibly can. Now Tylus looks like they are. Yeah, it looks like Tylus is pretty much spent. He's got. I mean, there's units left. You know, Thracian Peltis, tribal warriors, and I think there was something. No, I guess that's really it for Tylus. Another tribal warrior up here. Evocati cohort just shattered. Up here we got Celtic warriors, wolf warriors, and a slinger. And a lot of fire coming in from Sparta. Sparta was able to save a lot of its ammo. Pontus moved his bronze shield pikes from here into this spot. But now they are getting shot by the Spartan archers from behind and then stabbed from the Spartan pikes in front. So now the Spartan pikes are getting pretty low. 53 out of 160, 233 kills. That Royal Spartan, it's still alive, 419 kills. But look at this, Chimerian Nobles down to 36 men and 28? I think it is. Yeah, 36 and 28 between the Chimerian Noble and the Scythian Hoplite. Now, I don't know. Okay, I think Boei's unit was just being dumb. Wouldn't let it, like, it just wasn't going the way he needed him to go. So Sparta's, he's got units that are really just being a thorn in our side. Perioike pikes over here, but they are getting shot by Pontic Peltus. And then a Royal Spartan unit there, Royal Spartan unit here. I think the Spartan pikes broke 243 kills, and our Bronze Shield pikes are somehow still alive. But because those pikes are gone, I can re-engage my Hoplite and Noble Infantry. Now, look at this. Scythian Hoplite, Noble Infantry, and Noble Infantry all just holding back this horde of Spartans and Carthaginians and just lots of stuff. The African pikes are at 41 men out of 160, and then I think, are they still... Okay, they're out of ammo. Okay, so the Helot archers still have ammo. Armored legionaries, I'm not sure exactly what they're doing. And then tribal warriors and African pikes still pushing in on this side. We decided to hold it just because on these walls we were getting really good shots into the pikes there. So decided to hold that little area. Gotta love the orange cloaks for the Chimerian Noble Infantry. I do really like Chimeria in the with the Cebides mod. It gets some really cool infantry out of that. So that is one cool thing about the Cebides mod, is that it does take some factions that, are usually considered irrelevant or just not very good, and tends to improve them quite a bit. Got the other Royal Spartan unit in now. You're kidding, right? Okay, 89 kills on this one. But the that one unit is 446 kills, and it's wavering. Nope, not anymore. It's shaken. Shaken but not stirred. Got some Chimerian heavy archers here. Really, probably just, trying to wait to get into wherever it needs to be put, Now, on this side, it is, we broke the pikes, so now we are actually pushing in. Oh. It's not what I meant to do. So we actually pushed into the courtyard here and are starting to try and envelop the side over here, especially with the firepower from the walls. We should be able to get some pretty good shots down on this stuff. Sparta turned around some of his hoplites to try and hold us back a little bit, but with the swordmasters there, they should be able to cut through them pretty good. 69 kills, swordmasters 258. We pulled back to a slightly different formation so that we could help deal with the pikes. Instead of being here, we decided to come here and here, because then the pike can only go one direction, and we can, envelop it or something. But it looks like the pike broke, so Royal Spartans here with 110 men left, 121 kills. And then here, yeah, the Scythian Hoplites just aren't good enough to take on things like Royal Spartans. The Royal Spartans, the newer units, at 108 kills. But as you can see, we've moved some Scythian Hoplites and Chimerian Noble Infantry over here to hopefully start moving into this spot. Now on this side, look at this, just mass destruction on both sides, just death everywhere. And Pontus is once again trying to push again here, but it's going to be tough with those Royal Spartans. You know, these guys 155 kills. You can see, I mean, this is a very, very close fight. Almost everything is committed from both sides here. I've still got my Gen, and then I have a healthy unit of Chimera Noble Infantry here. Pontus has got some swords here, a tiny unit here, just some, you know, toss-away units over here. Another little, you know, half-strength unit of Pontic swords. Swaby is pretty much done. Swaby has his Gen with 40 guys, a Wolf Warrior with 17, and I think, yep, Kimbri Bows with 120. And I think, yeah, they must be out of ammo. I was going to say, they can't have ammo, right? Oh, and then he has a Sword Master with 84 men left, that are taking on some Armored Legionnaires here that literally broke on contact. So now the Sword Masters are going to push this way against Sparta. And looks like the rest of our units are just kind of cleaning up this area here. There is a Praetorian Guard that must have glitched out or something. So the Praetorian Guard is just kind of sitting here. That's unfortunate. That is the kind of unit that turns the tide. You know, this one unit could wreck a quarter of this probably, if not more. There's definitely nothing on the field left that could probably take it on one-on-one. Pontic Sword's going to go back in against the Royal Spartans. They're just racking up kills. And then over here, just a tiny, teensy little unit of Pontus left. Getting surrounded now by the heroes of Sparta. 172 kills on those guys. Then Pontus has his last little unit. 71 men coming in. Going to try and, you know, hold that if he can. Once again, you can see just kind of some trash time units here. 61... 44, 83, 51. But as you can see, now we're starting to turn in on this side. My noble infantry coming in against the depleted units of Royal Spartans. 203 kills on this guy. And I think, well, it looked like he was going to pull his hero Sparta back and hold. But now I think he's going to hold off this unit so that this unit can continue to fight. As Royal Spartan is starting to lose here. 53 men left. Then over here, 118 left and 17 left. Bring in more infantry. Once again, just trying to finish this off for Sparta. But look, good lord, just look at the fighting that has taken place in this area here. All within this little block, you know, between here, here, and here. Just massive amounts of death. Hundreds and hundreds have died right here. Now Swaby's going to bring his Kimbri bowwomen in and try and surround these units. And then the Royal Spartan here is just racking up kills before it dies. 38 minutes at 228 kills. Now, the small unit of Spartan hoplites here is starting to break, but that Royal Spartan is still hanging in. And Swaby's sending in his Kimbri bowwomen to try and flank around there. The Oathsworn and the Pontic swords now surrounding the heroes of Sparta. Heroes of Sparta, 223 kills, and then wait, where did the thorough spear come from? From Pontus. Wow, I didn't even realize he had that left. So he's going to take that and surround the Spartans that just broke, and then now probably going to turn right back around and help surround the heroes of Sparta. Oathsworn, 170 kills. And as you can see, we're just trying to push through this Royal Spartan unit if we can. 178, 180. But man, it is just holding strong. Yeah, just tiny units left around the battlefield. "37 men left. Shaken." Now, if the Jin dies, Sparta's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Understood.
Yep, 76. Yep, here goes the Jin, wavering. Completely and totally surrounded. 250 kills. He's gonna break sometime. Yep, there he goes. Alright, so the Spartan Jin is gone. And we'll see. Yep, so the Royal Spartans are now shaken because they're completely and totally surrounded here. Got some small units back there, Spartan hoplites and Perioikoi spears. Oh, so the Perioikoi spears, I believe, are on this. So the unit, this siege tower is next to this tortoise when it died, and when these are too close to each other, when one gets destroyed, it will glitch the other one out. So this Perioikoi spear of 160 men got glitched onto the tower, and so it is now useless. Cannot be used for anything. And as you can see, the Royal Spartans finally broke. All we have left is this bad boy. We're going to go ahead and speed this up. As you can see, we're moving our stuff around. So this could be very difficult just because Praetorians are good enough that whatever we send at it, it's going to do some damage. Celtic slingers here just got hit really hard by Pila throw. Even more, look at that, just doing so much damage there. We're trying to get our units in and surround it. Got the Pontic swords and the Thorough spears and the Oathsworn. Oathsworn and the, I guess Praetorian Guard's not going to go into the Oathsworn. Yeah, just trying to surround it, see if we can get it. It's confident, General's dead. Got Swordmasters coming in behind. A lot of infantry coming from me. Pontic swords are exhausted. Praetorian Guard. 62 kills already, only lost 3 men. Yeah, but it's just going to be army losses. The losses of all the other troops are going to lead to the demise of the Roman Praetorian Guard. Alright, so let's go look at the kills. You know, like I said in the beginning, my troops are not good at killing. They were there to hold the choke points, keep the archer spot open. So archers all did very good. 140, 135, 33, 130, 30. But, you know, Chimera Noble Infantry, 138, 79 on the Scythian Hoplites. Buds here as Bowie with 2,400, 260 with the Oathsworn. All of his infantry did great. 240, 131, 111, 121, 184. Very, very well done. Mexi as Pontus, 187 with the Jin. Most of his archers did pretty well. 145, 121. Bikes did really well, 264. And then look, even, you know, Pontic swords, 156, 157. Pretty well, 174 on that guy. Well done. 131 with the Thorough Spear. And that's a Thorough Spear. Look how little damage that thing took. Pedro, look at the Sword Masters up here. 325 and 321, 287. Bloodsworn at 177, 144, 149. Club Levy. And on the attacking side, Reaper at 1,400 kills. His infantry just really got focused. You know, the Praetorian Guard didn't get the kills that it could have gotten because it broke from army losses. Archers just got beat up. Ninja, 171 with the Jin. The skirmishers all up here, 143, 106, 227 on the Oathsworn, 207. Then the tribal warriors all did very well, 218, 199, 141. Liquid junk, 122 with the noble cav Jin. Pikes, 67, 78. Archers, 140, 111. 257 and 148 with the noble fighters. Then Whooping Man with 2,538. 249 on the Jin. Archers did pretty well, 156. 156 with a Helot Archer. That's pretty good. 105, 101. 243 and 118 on the Pikes. And look at the Royal Spartans. 232, 450, 240, 132. Very, very well done on the Royal Spartans there. All right, guys. Well, that is it for this one. I truly hope you guys enjoyed this. If you're new to the channel, make sure to go hit that subscribe button and hit that like. And then I'd love to see you guys' comments. And we will see you guys next time.